The final sums of squares we will calculate is the sums of squares within cells. The sums of squares within cells is the squared difference between each actual value, for example, this 4, this 9, this 1, and so on, and the mean for the hospital and sex group to which that value belongs. We will calculate sums of squares within cells using this fairly large table, only part of which can be shown here, but it includes female and male and each hospital for each group, and these are actually individual observations for the first female in Albemarle, for example, and this is the observation for the first male in Albemarle, the observation being length of stay. In order to calculate the sums of squares within cells, we will take each of the actual lengths of stay, subtract the appropriate mean value being the hospital and sex group to which that length of stay belongs, and squaring the result. When we have finished this, we will add all these values for the sums of squares within cells. To carry out these calculations, we're going to start right here in cell N17 and say that the value in N17 will be equal to this 4 minus the mean for females in Albemarle. And that will be fixed with an F4 so that it will always be in row 15. I'll now square that, and when I hit enter, this is the first value that will be a component part of the sums of squares within cells. To get the rest of the sums of squares within cells, we're going to first copy these numbers 1 through 10 and paste them here so we'll know how far down we have to drag this value in order to get all of the differences, the squared differences between the individual observations for women in Albemarle and the mean for women in Albemarle. We're going to move down so we can see this result and click it down with a double left click on the lower right hand corner, and these are the first values, those for Albemarle. Now we'll drag this across 4 columns rather, and we have all of the squared differences between the actual values for women in each of the hospitals and the mean for women in each of those hospitals. Now to get the same values for the men, we will simply copy that rectangular area and move to the right below the results for men, and we will paste that right here. So now we have all the results for men in this area, and all the results for women in this area. So now to find the sums of squares within cells, we will add both of those areas right here. So this will be equal to the sum of this set of numbers, and then we'll put in a comma and get this set of numbers. And when we hit enter, we get the value 1298.6, which sums the squares within cells in figure 10.14.